Hey yo, what's good, what? In today's video, I want to compare the beefy M2 versus my car, which is not an M2. I wish it was an M2, but it's a 4-cylinder 228i. First noticeable difference is probably the bumper by far. Like, it looks really aggressive. I've noticed that actual M2s, they don't have any fog lights, unlike mine. But I actually googled, and it's an oil cooler. I don't know if you can see behind the grille. And personally, I actually don't mind the M Sport look. I think it's very aggressive as well. Maybe not good as that, but still. So I got a protective grille that protects my intercooler. And I don't know if you can see, but that's actually the inlays that go straight to my intake. So it's constantly gonna suck cold air. The downside is I have fog lights, and this grille is fake. But I don't know if you can see, but it's an actual functional vent that I don't know what it's cooling, but you know, it's still there. The headlights are obviously xenon, and they're about the same, to be honest. I don't know how I feel about those lines, but it's not a bad looking headlight. Pretty much the same thing, to be honest. The second noticeable difference is by far the wide body. The front bumper is generally wider than the M Sport, same as the fenders. They have a lot of meat on them, and probably the hardest thing that I'll never be able to replicate is the rear arch. I don't know, I've seen some people do it, but you have to laser cut it and weld the actual M2 panel on, which is just way too much work. And when I look at my car directly, like, honestly, it's not even noticeable. But once you start comparing it, damn. But it is what it is, still grateful. And to be honest, my favorite part about this car is by far the brakes. I'm glad the previous owner didn't cheap out and option the car with Brembos. The rotor itself, I think it's pretty basic. It's still like, you know, the same one as 240i, 335s. They're not slotted. And the M2 on the other hand seems to have exactly the same brakes, but just slotted rotors. And I think the wheel itself is like, what, 19? Yeah, it is 19. While mine is just a regular 18. But no, it's a car. I might just go up to 19 eventually. The saddest part is probably the rear end. Look, I know it's a 228i, but I will definitely need to get a dual exit diffuser and just go dual exit. And M2 on the other hand is pretty beefy. Like, obviously it's like a top trim, top of the range, but still, like, I think it's very simple looking. There's not much going on. I see the owner got this aftermarket carbon fiber lip. I'm not gonna touch it whether it's real or not, but I'm sure he got the money, so it might be real. I mean, it's very subtle, to be honest, considering it's a black car. You can't really tell. My car came with this OEM lip boot, which I don't mind. I feel like I don't really want to change it, just rock it the way it is. The funniest thing is the actual M2 doesn't have the M caps, but you know, the base model ain't lacking. Got a aqua print carbon fiber, 20 bucks from AliExpress. Honestly, you can't even complain. I think this looks sick for what it is. And it's a steel OEM exhaust. To be honest, I feel like it just needs a bigger tips. Nothing else. Like the taillights, yeah, sure. Mine is a 2016, so it's a non-LCI, which means it's a non-facelift, unlike this car. Man, look, I'll be completely honest, they do look better. But if you don't look at those, these are just fine.
If you broke, then just say that.
Overall, I think each car is good in its own way. Like, the M2 prices have been coming down, so sometimes I'm just wondering, like, man, if I gave it like maybe extra year and saved up, I could have got that instead of this. But I'm grateful. It's a good daily. It gets me from A to B. I'm having fun in it. No complaints, no faults so far, and I actually get to build the car the way I want to. This thing, it'll come. Eventually, everything will happen. Just gotta trust God.